Now, in the story that we're going to look at, it's very important that the woman that we're going to be concerned about, she's a harlot. That is a sophisticated word for saying that she runs a prostitute business. She's what we would publicly call a whore right now. She is a lady of the night, and she's running a business. Now, these we're going back over 3,000 years ago, and 3,000 years ago, in other cultures before the Ten Commandments and Judaism really impacts our culture, she had a business. It's considered a business. It was part of their culture. It was something that they had no problem with it. So that even in their religious temples, worshiping other gods, they were physically present, male and female prostitutes. So when people went and worshiped their ancient gods, they would also participate in this harlotry, in this thing. And people that traveled, sometimes the safest place to stay was in the whorehouse when you were on the road. So we want to look at her from the standpoint of the reality of who she is, but we want to see this transition that's about to happen. How many of you know that when you add God to something, it changes? When we add God to something, it changes. What it was before, it's no longer that. So I don't want you to be thinking 21st century. I want you to be thinking within the context of this is a long time ago. The culture was different, but the profession was the same then. And we are just having the people of God are going to cross the Jordan River and come into the new promised land. They're on their way into the promised land. One of the most, historically, they believe that the most ancient city in the world was the city of Jericho. And many of you know about the Jericho wall, so forth and so on. That's not where we're going to go today. But understand that the walls that were around Jericho, on the top of one of the walls at the entrance to the city, was a perfect place for a prostitute to open a house of ill repute. Perfect. She could see the people coming in and going out. They could quickly see her habitation. She could run her business from that viewpoint. So here we have a woman who's a smart cookie, and she's complying with the morals and ethics of her day. The morals and ethics of her day. But she's about to have an encounter. Lord have mercy. She's about to have an encounter with God. So everything is about to change. Now, I want to say, we had a testimony. Our sister was talking about dealing with an illness that was a long time connected and so forth and so on. And I want those of you that have been struggling with something long, I want you to listen to this story. We're going to be talking about Rahab. And there is a transition that's going to happen as a result that she's going to come into contact with God and God's people. We should be thinking, Living Word and every church that it's around today, we should be thinking of creating an atmosphere where God is present in the sanctuary, that when we greet them and smile at them and welcome them and say hello to them, we should be thinking to ourselves, let me worship the Lord deeply today so that God will come into this building. Let me sincerely worship him, not on the basis of what song was played or I like that song, so now I can get my God on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Worship is about your adoration, your affection, and your commitment and service to God. The responsibility of worship is ours. If we, by our sincere worship when we sit here, regardless as to what the dancers, the musicians do, if our heart is crying out that we love you, Lord, we love you, he will hear us and he will draw nearer to us. And then when people walk in the door, they will go, people there are weird. But there's something else in the atmosphere. There's something else going on. See, the Spirit, it can be felt. We can tell it, but it can also be felt, even by the unsaved. but it will especially be felt by the searching. Anybody got that? By the searching. And we're going to see that with Rahab. We're going to see a woman who is a night of the night. We're going to see a woman who is of the night. But the presence of God, the children of Israel are drawing to the city of Jericho. And God picks, listen to me, he picks a worshiper first. Someone that loves him and has a heart for him. She doesn't see what she does as this filthy crime situation, as this immoral thing. She sees herself as a businesswoman in a difficult time. But there's something in her that helps her identify